Alrighty, folks, we have the one and only Bill Allen, creator of Teenage Tycoon, which I hope changes lives for generations to come. He's essentially making it sexy, making it interesting to get your kids involved in entrepreneurship, to talking about money, making money not one of those things you don't talk about. And as you can see, he is in his car. He is doing some stuff on the road, and we just appreciate the opportunity to talk. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the first time I've ever made like a professional video from my car. But technology is amazing, isn't it? It's like my kids are on spring break. They're at some dinosaur bounce house, and so this is like perfect.
There
I
you
can
go.
still do this and meet my commitments. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's talk about Teenage Tycoon because you're 90 days into this. Let's
Yeah.
remind people first what the vision was, and then we'll talk about what reality's been. So when you started brainstorming Teenage Tycoon, what was the thing you were trying to solve for?
The gap in the marketplace, like, and when I say marketplace, like the gap in the educational system for our kids when it
Right.
comes to finances, business, entrepreneurship, and really just like all around money making. I don't know, making money great again, something like that, you know? So like just, I had a high school friend come over this weekend and that I haven't seen in years and years and years, talk about how much money we make and all this stuff. And just the mindset is broken, I feel like, in most Americans about money. And so make just to make it like normalize the conversation around money, maybe for kids and families. Actually, it turned out to be more families as we started doing it. So I know we'll talk about like what it has become, but in the beginning it was, get the kids involved and get them to make sure that make money not something that shouldn't be talked about or taught or
Yes.
trained. Yeah.
Yeah. When you first brought this up, I was like, I want to be a part of this. It's going to be amazing. Let's go. Let's change this. Because again, the gap, and I say this as a 51-year-old man. The education system is broken, right? I
Yep.
was raised and indoctrinated to go to school, get a good job, get educated, make money. And oh, by the way, hopefully you live to 65 and you can retire. That's
Yep.
all I knew. And the other side of my personal equation is money was like the last thing you wanted to talk in my family because there were a couple of windows of time where we had money and life was good. Most of the time, life was horrible because we had no money. So
Yeah.
that there's so much baggage in that. So just by unlocking money making, talking about money, all the different things you've done in the first 90 days, it's just, I hope Teenage Tycoon just goes on to just gigantic things because I think you will change generations with this. So, um, it's been fun
Me
to watch
too.
from afar.
Yeah, me too. That's an interesting talking point as well at 90 days. So, like we have two different things going on right now. Number one, we have the program, what we've learned over the last 90 days. But then also, there's this the business itself after 90 days, right? So like when you're starting something new and it's exciting in the beginning and to understand what it really takes to grow something and just be committed to the idea and the vision because that's where most people start to wane. And honestly, like I've done this so many times with different ideas, different, writing a book and then starting a YouTube channel and doing more social media and building an email list and selling from stage, whatever it was that I had to do that was new. It always gets hard around that 90-day time. Like the honeymoon phase wears off. So there's like we could talk about the program, but I also think it's going to make sense for us
Yeah,
to talk about me as the owner and it growing and then plateauing and things like that and like how hard it is to keep going to get
yeah.
something that's really big on the backside of it.
Well, yeah. Let's go to that because again, I think there's a lot of. I mean, I help people all the time in real estate, and you're right. There's this shooting star, this honeymoon period where you're interested, you're committing. You get those early adopters to adapt. It really or adopt it. It really makes like you're onto something, and then you get to this point, 90 days. It's like, whoa, this is getting hard. So
Yep.
yeah, let's talk about that reality.
Well, I think, everybody that I talk to about this program is all about it. They love it. They're like, "Oh, my kids need to be in it. Like this is exactly what we need." But it's hard. Like it really is hard to um break into that and get people to commit and they see it as it's another extracurricular activity for my kids effectively, right? It's a
Right.
Thursday night at 7 p.m. We've got baseball, we got soccer, we've got gymnastics, we've got band, whatever it is, like, and so they see it as a big commitment for their family and or really for their kid. And so what I realized is there's a what I think the idea of it is huge. People are all about it. We're
Mm.
executing it really, really well. The quality of the speakers that are coming on, the type of content they're getting is second to none. It's incredible, which is what we put together. But being more well known is the thing that has to happen, and us constantly talking about it and focusing on it and building strategy around it and like just marketing it all the time
Yeah.
to get just a couple people in. And so what I've seen from the business side is, we got in the beginning, like you said, it was amazing. We got this big influx of people, and then what it's done is it's got just slowly kind of stalled out. And as the visionary, as the owner, I really have to kind of keep it sparked all the time. I have to keep
Right.
talking about it, and obviously I have other things going on, which which is a challenge. So I got to get my team on it. We got to make sure that we're constantly promoting it and bringing new blood in. Otherwise, what happens as a visionary a lot of times is we start feeling like, does
Yeah.
anybody really want this? Like, is this really what we should be doing? But the purpose behind it, it has to be really big. Like, and I'll tell you what, I don't care if two kids are on that call on Thursday night. Like, I'm giving everything that I got.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. The kids are selling like just some of their little wins and the kind of questions they're asking and the conversation that's happening on Thursday night. It's totally worth it for me. So, and like we said, you set aside a Thursday for the first 90 days and it's easy. And then it's like, oh, I got to do this again on Thursday night. And if it ever becomes like that, like you're not passionate about it, you are not all in on it, then you're not going to succeed. And so just
No.
fortunately, these kids and these families show up on Thursday nights and just get me like jacked up again and get excited about it. So
Yeah, you and I have been talking about this pretty much the whole time. I just want to throw this wrinkle out there as somebody who's ran go-to-market strategies for new products successfully, right? I've taken three different software products from 0 to 100 million, which not many people have done. The thing that I would wrinkle in, at least in the marketing or the hook, is almost like a family date night. I would
yeah,
sell that harder. Because again, it's not about the kid's next band thing or the kid's soccer or the kid this or the kid that. This is a family thing.
yep,
There are no, like, unless you do like a family movie night or a family pizza night, like we had a family sushi night, when Teresa was in high school. You could count on it every Friday. It was family sushi time just to catch up.
yep,
I think if you position this as a family event, and really the only family event they have all week,
yep.
I think there's something there. I think I'd start scratching that. What do you think?
For sure. So what we realized is the first couple weeks, that was the pushback we got on a lot of we're driving leads and the sales conversations are very much like, okay, like I'm going to hand my kids over to you and you're going to babysit them for the hour. And so what we
Yeah,
realized,
I can take a nap.
for sure. And like, oh, so what are you going to be doing? Like, how much commitment is it on them? What kind of workload is it going to be for them? I just want to make sure it fits. And that's what the parents were asking us. And what I realized after about 2 or 3 weeks, and honestly, the calls helped me with this. What
Yeah.
I saw families on the couch watching it on their TV.
Mm.
And so when I saw that after the first couple of weeks, I said, I think we got this wrong from the beginning. It really is that. I remember TGI Friday when I was growing up, TGIF. It
Yeah.
was like you
Yeah.
got Urkel and you got some of these TV shows, and we would order like pizza or have a
Yeah.
specific meal. But there's no co-viewing stuff on TV anymore. There's not even co-viewing stuff on YouTube Kids or anything. Like it's the parents have the stuff that they do and watch, and the kids have the stuff that they do. But so what we did was try to build out the content. We try to bring the right speakers that the parents would also like to look over the shoulder with the kids and learn
Mm.
together. And so that is what we've done for the fulfillment side. But I agree with you. I think we can be way better on the front end marketing of that, of really throwing rocks at how the typical American family is not connected anymore. There's no night that you spend together.
Exactly.
Like, yep, you're dropping your kids off, and honestly, you're on your phone when they're playing their soccer practice on the sideline.
Yeah, you're not even there,
And
right? Yeah.
so we have to find the parents and the families that want to do something together, and that
Yeah,
is a totally different market than
absolutely.
I have money. I would really like to just send my kid to go learn
Yeah,
this
let me
from
let
you.
me go do another daycare thing.
Yep. And so the challenge that we run into there, so then the rub is from the marketing and sales side, is a lot of the families that do that kind of stuff and spend those times together. Sometimes those families are already teaching a lot of this stuff and they feel like they know it.
Mm.
And it's like how is this going to benefit them? So we actually like really adjusted the price point, really tried to adjust the message. But I totally agree with you. That's where we need to go a lot further. And having this conversation is helping me formalize a plan in my head to then talk to my COO about that. Because really, we can help a lot of people here, and so it's about getting in front of the right people with the right message to say, hey, because they already know that they need this, they know that they want it, and it's really just not being provided out there.
Yeah, I think if you make it about a family date night or family game night or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, because I think because really what I see happening, and I would put in the marketing message is you're going to have your kids ask interesting questions,
Yeah.
right? You were telling me that just this week, kids suddenly out of nowhere wanted to learn about the stock market. Who would have
Yeah.
guessed that? Right?
I
You
know.
did some eBay flipping, you did some this, you did some that, and suddenly the kids come to you wanting to talk about the stock market. Dude, I didn't know what the
Yep.
stock market was until I was in college.
I know.
Right? So you
And
are
these are
making
kids.
a
These are kids
difference.
from like 8 or 9 years old up to 17.
Right.
And I said, "Hey, what do you guys want to learn next week?" Like, I had a gap of speakers. I have some killer, like, huge speakers coming up the next month. And the guy who was supposed to speak couldn't come. So last week on my accountability group with them on Thursday, so I show up every other Thursday, and then I have another mentor come on every the other Thursdays. So every Thursday night at 7 Central, there's a call. And they said, we want to learn about this. It was overwhelming. They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. In the chat, they're like, stocks. They throw in a bunch of money emojis, bags of money. They're talking about. And so I said, okay, I have the perfect guy actually. Just texted him right after the call, and he's like, dude, I'll be there in a second. And
Nice.
that's what I get. That's the cool part, is the support that I get from people that are in my network that I know, and even people that are not like really tightly connected to me are like, I want to serve these kids. We just got to figure out when and I
Exactly.
can. It's
Exactly.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the best finance book. I don't know if I think it was a really easy read, but if you haven't read this one, it was actually Warren Buffett's unofficial biography. I think it was called American Capitalist. It's
Mm.
probably 25 years old, but that was the best book, finance book. It was really like a story.
Mm.
Talks about Warren Buffett being a kid and buying his first stock. It does
Would
all
it
of that.
be would it be good for kids?
I've read it 5 times. It would I would buy it, Bill, and read the first chapter, and you tell me.
Okay. Because I right now I'm trying to pick a stock kind of book for the kids right now for next month. And
Yeah.
since they showed so much interest, I'm actually shifting the April book. So I'll do
Let
it.
me,
I'll read through. I got a couple options, so I'm kind of, since
yeah,
you
let
said
me
that, now I'm interested in taking a look.
let me make sure I got the title right. I'm just gonna look it up on my phone on Amazon. I think it's called American Capitalist.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to bring my friend in for the stocks for these kids. I think they just understanding the basics of the market, understanding what it is, understanding that, when you're buying a stock to go dividend paying stocks, in growth stocks, what a
Yeah.
bond is, and they have all of these educational videos that I've made on stocks so far. So they've been going through those, which, Michael, is the reason why they know about the stock market and are interested. They just got through that whole module, and they were like, we
Nice.
want to learn more about this. So
Yeah. So the name of the book is actually Buffett, The Making of an American Capitalist.
okay,
Yeah. I would I
take a
would
look.
pick that up by Roger Lowenstein. That was the best finance book story. It kind of really showed buy and hold, it was I find it a good read. That's the best one I've ever read.
Nice. They're really enjoying the Go Giver right now. They're reading the Go Giver right
Oh,
now.
that's an amazing book. Yeah.
Yeah, we went from Swim, which was Walter Bond's book, and it was more of a fable and a story, to Millionaire Next Door, which was like a textbook for them. So
Yeah.
they struggled with that one.
Little
And
dense, little dense.
and so now they're like, we love this book. Like, the Go Giver's awesome. It's so much easier to read again. So I
It's
definitely don't
fun
want to throw
again.
them. I don't want to throw them right into the finance textbook if I can avoid it. So
No,
I'll
we
take a
won't
look
do
at
that
it.
again. Yeah, just take a look.
Yeah.
Um, it is it really really what I see you doing is providing vehicles for families, but what your job is. So now if we go from kind of the marketing, getting everybody in the funnel, your magic is what I call light bulb moments.
Hmm.
What you're trying to do is take this kid who is there probably because their parents told them to, right? There are a few kids like, hey, mom and dad, can you do this for me? They're the early adopters.
Yep.
But what you're trying to do is turn on the light bulb, and kids are tough. You just don't know where that's going to come from.
Yeah.
And um,
They're there every week. Like,
yeah,
it's not, and I'll tell
that's
you, I
awesome.
talk to their parents now, and their parents are like, I had no idea this was inside of them. Like that, it was 2 weeks of calls, and my kid won't put these books down. So
Nice.
my son's 9. He's 9. He turns 10 in June, and he's giving me a little trouble with the books. Like, I set up the book club for a 6th grader. My son's in 4th grade, so
Yeah.
the book club's really like 6th to 12th grade. That's the goal for that.
He's
And so I
reaching.
don't put
Yeah.
yeah, I don't put a lot of pressure on him, but he reads a ton of books. Like right now, he's reading the Lemony Snicket's like series of unfortunate events series.
Yeah.
He read through 5 books in like 3 days.
Oh
So
wow.
when he's in the car or he's at dinner, he'll have a book. Like, we don't do iPads and iPhones and all that stuff and movies. Like, they need to be bored. My kids need
Right.
to understand what being bored feels like.
No.
And so I don't want to, and no offense to any other parents, but I look at it like it's a total pacifier. And
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm okay with making my life a little harder so that they understand that, it's okay to be bored
Mm.
sometimes, and you got to
Yeah.
work through that.
Yeah.
And he I had him read. I was like, dude, I'm not giving you your iPad back until you read the first chapter of The Go-Giver. You read the first chapter, and then it's only 6 pages. You read the first chapter, and then you can have your iPad. You can hang it with your friends on a Friday night before,
Mm.
it was last Friday night before spring break. And he said, okay, he reads it, and then he doesn't come down after 6 pages. He comes down after like 12 pages.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, that took you a little longer than I thought, buddy. He's like, I read 2 chapters. And I said, why'd you read 2 chapters? He goes, well, I mean, I kind of liked it. It was kind of interesting, but I really want to play the video games with my friends. I said, all right. I said, do you want to read this book? Because the last book I bought, you didn't want to read, because he read the first chapter of, I made him read the first chapter of The Millionaire Next Door. He's like, I don't want to read this one,
Yeah.
Dad. I
Not
said, okay,
happening.
that's fine. That's fine. We'll read it in a couple years. And so it's really cool to see. Sometimes, like, I look at it like exactly what we talked about maybe a couple months ago. Is he doesn't want to get his Boy Scout uniform on and go to Boy Scouts, but once he's there, he doesn't want to leave. And
Exactly.
same with soccer, or football. Like, in the beginning, he's in the honeymoon phase of flag football right now. Another couple months, he'd be like, I don't want to go to practice. And I'll be like, once I get his clothes on, get him out there, he doesn't want to leave. He'll stay all night. And so
Mm.
same thing, as if I can get him in the first chapter, and that's what I have to do for the parents, is I have to
Yes.
get them to commit that they're gonna do the hard work to get the kids to show up to the first call or second call, and then we got it from there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely, that's genius. You're really removing that burden from the parents to take it there. Again, I think it's the community, like once these kids create friendships, and
Yeah.
again, kids of this day and age, they're creating friendships online, right? You and I would actually
Yeah.
like go outside,
Yeah.
but those friends are just as much friends as you and I had with the neighbor kids. It's just
Yep.
different, but it's still just as important to them. And you don't want to let your friends down. If your friend's going to read chapter one, you're going to at least read chapter one.
Yep.
And this is an
And they're
amazing.
connecting inside of Slack. We're teaching them how to use Slack. So they're connecting inside of there. They're
Nice.
messaging each other, and they're using a platform that they actually will use in the future at a job or a position. So
For
we
sure.
want to take them off of like some of these other, Facebook or these kind of platforms, and put them on a platform that they can actually like learn and use
It's a
how
skill,
to work.
business skill. I like it.
Yeah,
I
and you're
like it.
right. They're creating friendships, they're creating bonds, and these are other families and other kids that have similar values than their families do. So like attracting the right folks that, yeah, I mean, you're a product of your surrounding, 100%.
Yeah. I just think there's so much in Teenage Tycoon coming. I know the honeymoon phase is over. You're at day 90. I know it's a slog. As an outsider, I want to just keep pushing you to keep going. I
Oh,
think you,
I
yeah,
I don't quit. So
yeah,
fortunately,
that's true.
I don't quit. Yeah, no, regardless. I mean, I'm serious. If 5 families are showing up, I'm doing this, and it's like the snowball just takes time. It takes time. We have an event coming up this summer in person here in Nashville that I think is really going to spark
I
this,
was going to
and
ask you
really,
about that.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's like middle of June, of uh during summer break for all the kids, and it's a family event. We're working on it right now, trying to understand the price point, the marketing, all that stuff. And this was really kind of like the beta launch of it. January to June was the beta launch of this, and we dialed a lot in. We understood what people want, the price point, all that stuff. So then we put our event on, we can really have a great opportunity for people to jump in with us after that.
Wow. Putting out an event after 6 months. It took me 5 years to do an event. So you really don't play around.
Well, if we got 50,000 subscribers on a Teenage Tycoon YouTube channel, I'd probably throw a bigger event. So but I mean, we got room for 750 people, so we'll see how we do at this event.
Wow.
I do have a pretty big kind of like audience and following in Nashville, from even just from my farmers market all the way to my local community. So I do think that we can fill the room, especially if we make the price point right. My goal isn't to make a ton of money on the event. My goal is to just create a total movement.
No, the events generally are, if you can do a break-even event, you're doing okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing. Well, again, I want to encourage you, Teenage Tycoon, look it up. I'll put a link below. Um, Bill Allen, you want to tease any of the speakers coming up, or are they super secret?
I'll give so one speaker we have coming up. So this Thursday, it's a good friend of mine. His name is Jeremy Newsom. Does day trading, teaches it's called Real Life Trading. His company's got an amazing coaching program and stuff. But the 2 weeks after that, we have a guy who spoke on my stage a few times. He was in the Tony Robbins circuit for years, speaking on his stage. Spoke to like in stadiums of 50,000 people. It's insane. So Nick Santanastasso is going to come speak to the kids in 2 weeks, which is really incredible. A lot of them have seen him at my event, Flip Hacking Live. And so they were like, I was like, hey, who do you guys want to see? They're like, they put in Nick Santanastasso in the chat like nonstop. And I was like, actually, guys, he's coming in 2 weeks. They're like, what? They were all freaking out. So
That's awesome.
that's really great. I'll tease that one now. And then I don't know, we
No
got some
problem.
other calls. I'll talk about who's coming up 2 weeks after that. It's kind of big.
There you go. There you go. Well, Bill Allen, you are amazing. Thank you for doing this from the car. Go have fun at the dinosaur jump house or
Oh,
whatever they
I
call
got my
those things.
dino socks. I'm getting back in there. It's so fun. I'm sweating from the first hour. I got another hour to go, so it's fun in there.
All right.
I'm like a big kid, you know. I'm 44, almost 45, but I'm running around there like I'm 16. So, or maybe 12. I don't know.
Maybe 12. Let's do 12. There you go. All right, but just remember, us old guys, we get injured a lot faster than we did
Oh,
at 12.
dude, I already tweaked my back in the first hour. I'm telling you, I should not have gone down that slide the way that I did.
Been there, done that, bought the book. Thanks, buddy.
All right. See you next week.